That's fun. When I work with metallics, I prefer them to look more beaten up and weathered. I want my armor to have seen battle and face the elements of nature. I have received multiple requests for the topic of this video, so I'm going to show you the way I like to do an easy verdigris slash patina effect and make something cool along the way. Here is everything you need for this. If you don't have the technical paint, no problem. I will show you how to make your own. I got this cool wound counter from Creature Caster that I thought would be good to demonstrate this effect on. When I was cleaning off the counter, I accidentally chipped some of the plastic, which left an indent. This gave me an idea to turn it into a pocket watch, though. I used a pin vise to make a little hole in it and glued an eye pin inside. I used baking soda and superglue to fill in the gaps, and then I sanded it down. And now for the painting process. Since I'm doing this quickly, I'm just going to brush prime it, but you can prime any way you want. Just make sure to use black primer. I did a good 2 coats and then I let it dry. Depending on the type of primer, you might want to let it sit for a day because we're going to be dry brushing it and you don't want anything to chip off. Next step is to add the metallic. I feel like most hobby dry brushes are hard or brittle, which is good for some weathering effects, but I like to use softer makeup brushes because I find they leave less chalky texture on the surface of models. Grabbing Pro Acryl Bronze, which is usually my go-to for this, but you can apply a patina to copper, bronze, silver, or any similar metals. Here's where I'm going to do an in-between of dry brushing and overbrushing. While my brush is dry, I'm swirling some paint on the tips and then taking the top layer off on a paper towel. I don't want to take most of the paint off like with standard dry brushing. I want the paint to still be more wet than dry. This will help lower the chance of that chalky texture. Softly brush the very top of the surface to catch all those raised bits. Don't apply too much pressure, as you want to gently tickle the edges first. This is so you don't put too much paint on right away. Once the paint starts to become less, you can apply more pressure. I like the look of working in circular motions versus back and forth. Just keep doing this until you're happy, all depending on how much black you want to show through. I like a warmer bronze, so I'm going to add a red tone wash to this. If your metallic already has red tones in it, you can skip this step. Or if you prefer, you can add a green wash. I'm going to add a little water to thin it down and then apply it heavier in some areas and lighter in others, just to give a more organic feel. Once that is dry, I'm grabbing a flat and slightly frayed brush. I like to keep my old brushes to use as texture brushes for things like this. Dab a little bronze on the tip and start to work in tapping motions around all the highlighted areas. A little edge highlighting, and we're done here. Now for the verdigris. I'm using a round makeup sponge. You can use a paper towel instead of a sponge as well. For this, I'm going to use Citadel's Nihilak Oxide. I think I'm saying that right. If you don't have this technical paint, you can easily make your own. Grab a similar color. I don't know why I have all these from Reaper Miniatures, probably because I'm a paint goblin. Putting some paint in a container, adding a few drops of some acrylic flow aid or medium, and then water until you get a similar consistency. And that's pretty much it. But for this, I'm going to take the oxide and mix a little of jade from Pro Acryl into it. If you want a paler color, then I suggest just using the straight oxide, but I prefer to have it a bit more vibrant. You can also add some green instead if you want it less blue. I'm going to dab this mixture into all the deep areas of the model first. Remember, verdigris happens mostly in the cracks and crevices. I'm taking the sponge and wiping away any I get on the surface, dabbing it to give a natural transition. Repeat this all over the model. To brighten up some areas, go back for another application. And that's it. Here's what it looks like. To finish up this piece, I'm going to add the magnets that it comes with. When making this, I didn't have anything that would work for a pocket watch, so for now, I just added a little metal hoop and attached a chain to it. I really enjoyed making this. Not only is it pretty cool, it's functional, and I got some sweet bling. Do they say bling? I think I just dated myself. I hope you liked this video, and thank you to those who requested it. Please like and subscribe for future content.